Welcome to the Lock Pop Talks podcast. I am your host, Tyree Wilson. And whether you are a man or a woman who is either married, separated, standing for your marriage, or divorced, this podcast is here to support you. I remember being real angry. Not just angry, you guys. I was furious. Furious with how quiet God had gotten out of my life, how quiet he had been when all I wanted to hear was his voice, when all I wanted to hear was what his word and what his direction was for me, what was next in my relationship. The last episode I gave you guys, I was talking about how music through video games, especially a video game I never played, really helped me start to fight for my marriage. And I lost motivation. I was on fire for God, but I didn't know where to start. I didn't know how to continue these things. I didn't know why God was letting all of these things happen to me. I tried to speak to my wife in a respectful tone. I did what I had to do to get a better paying job. I wanted to take more control over our financial situation within the home. I had put my foot down and told those who were no longer welcome in my home that they had to find another one. And yet nothing improved. Nothing happened. I still quit social media. I was finally on my way to graduating school on time. But for some reason, me and Tiffany just were not connecting. Instead of asking God for help, I got angry. I was distraught and I was confused, and the whole world felt like it was spinning. I was going harder for my kids. I was going harder for my job. But why could I not seem to get things right with Tiffany? My anger almost forced me to curse God, to curse his name, I feel terrible even saying it. I feel terrible even thinking that way, but I had to be honest with myself, and I felt like I had to do this podcast so that you guys would know how I understand when you are frustrated, when you feel like the enemy is hitting you, when you feel like you feel unmotivated, when you feel defeated, when you feel like it's pointless. I mean, let's think about it. God gives people free will. Your spouse is free to come and go, or free to go. I don't know, come and go, but free to go. And we as Christians, as standards, are taught to deal with it. It almost sounds like we were supposed to accept it. And it hurts so much to have to accept something that we cannot control. That's like being in the ring and getting punched in the face by a heavyweight boxer, and somebody in the corner is telling us to take it. Have faith, you'll still win this fight. And I felt like my body was breaking down. I had lost so much weight. I weighed about, 220 pounds when things got started between me and Tiffany. And by, near the tail end of things, I was about 188 pounds. 188 pounds. And it all came from just not having the motivation to eat. I wasn't working out more. I just wasn't eating. The pain and the loss are things that just, they literally eat away at you. No matter if you're praising God or not, sometimes it's just, there's still parts of it. You're still human. You're still feeling things that maybe not everybody else is feeling. You're still going through stuff. In the midst of trying to fight more for me and Tiffany's relationship to work things out, she texted me when I was at Wegmans, again, finishing up some homework, and she was done with work. She wanted me to come pick her up. We only had one car. We did not have a lot of people to rely on. She didn't take the bus. I wasn't going to let her. I'm still her husband. I'm not going to let you take the bus, if I can help it. I gathered up my stuff. I put on my face and I said, all right, I'll be right there. I'll be right there. And I got in the car feeling like, I don't know if you guys ever watched this movie. You probably did. Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith. When you guys listen to me, I'm going to be real, pop culture and all that nonsense. And it's just you guys getting to know me and me getting more comfortable with you. I felt like I was always running somewhere, always running. I had to run to a counseling session. I had to run to work. I had to run to school. I had to run to pick my wife up, run to get my kids. Not because I had to, like, not because I was in a hurry. I felt that I wanted to show that no matter what happened with the people in my life, with the people that I care for with the things that God has blessed me with, I was going to show that I considered all those things, all those people, a blessing to my life. So whenever I was called, it felt like God was calling me. So I ran. Everywhere I went, I ran. I did not complain. I just ran. That was how I dealt with my anger. When I got in the car to pick up Tiffany, I got stopped at, a red light, and I'm waiting. And this light is taking so much longer than normal. I don't know why it was, but it felt that way. It was taking so much longer than normal. In the midst of dealing with me being in a hurry, I simply asked God, why am I running? Why am I doing all of this? It's me that everyone has a problem with. It's me that my extended family want nothing to do with. It's my home that's being lost. It's my children who are indifferent to the situation. It is my wife who does not want to be with me. Why do I still run? Why is it that I can still do these things? Why can I still do them in the midst of what my mind is telling me? Why is my body still running? I had a conversation, you guys, with, I don't know if he's a member of the website or the podcast, but if you're out there, David Bowen, we had a conversation a few days ago, and it was a pretty lengthy conversation. I didn't mind having a conversation with David. It was a good brother. You can find him on Instagram if you ever, if you know who he is. If David, if you're out there, let it be known. But I imparted the same, I guess you can say, wisdom or depth to conversation and awareness that I came across. But it was only because of the grace of God that I come across this information. I asked God, why is it that my body can keep up with these demands when my mind seems to be just running on empty? And I shouted at God, not with this voice, you guys, not with the tone that I have. I shouted, why? Why do I have to do these things? Why is it that when my head hurts, when I can't see any other way out, why is it that my body's still running to please everyone else? I shouted. I want you to know, raising your voice, no matter who it is you're raising your voice at, besides your children, it's not always about an act of aggression towards that person. You can be by yourself and raise your voice. You can be in the midst of the battle and raise your voice. Try not to raise your voice to your spouse. Try not to raise your voice to your children. But raise your voice because you're being true to yourself. If you don't express your anger, it will show itself in other ways. I didn't look at my anger or my expression of anger while I was in this car. I didn't express it in a manner of me turning away from God or accepting the enemy into my life. I didn't look at my expression of anger that way. I'm the type of person that it came off as me drawing a line in the sand, wondering not just what Tiffany was about, everything that was going on between me and her. The line was drawn in the sand because I had gotten sick of myself and I wanted to dig deeper. What is the point of trying to be a good man when being a good man has brought me so much slack? I needed something deeper about myself. This is a thing that people learn about Christian religion, about learning about God and studying the word of God, which I encourage you to do as often as you can, as much as you can, and to ask as many questions, especially if you're not too versed in the Bible. Ask as many questions. Google some things about the Bible and study the word of God for yourself and get in touch with those who are way more knowledgeable than you are and figure out ways that the word can be broken down and easier for you to digest. The problem is that we don't feel, some certain Christians, certain people who are learning more about themselves and God, don't feel that they are worth thinking about in any capacity. That we are taught to